The Lagos police have taken custody of Ayomide Adeleye, the 23-year-old suspect accused of abducting and killing Christiana Idowu, a 21-year-old student of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. Adeleye was arrested by army operatives and handed over to the Lagos Police Command on Thursday. The suspect was tracked down using bank account details provided for a ransom payment of 350,000 naira, which was paid by Idowu's parents.
A smartphone also belonging to Idowu and transaction details related to kidnapping were found on the suspect. Adeleye confessed to killing Idowu and burying her in a shallow grave within his parents' compound in Ikorodu. An investigation into the case has also commenced. Now joining us is criminologist and security expert, Deji Oyenuga. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Another very, very sad story. We hate that we have to even talk about these types of things ever, in Lagos or in Nigeria. But quickly share with us, from you read through the story. What are some of the things that stick out for you?
Okay. You see, the first thing that I noticed in the story was that these two individuals had a relationship.
Yeah.
They attend the same church. They went to the same school, secondary school, or maybe primary school, and then they attend the same church too. So that means that there was a relationship. So it wasn't a total stranger.
Yeah.
But then in this case, she had to stay under his shed close to his house because of the rain. And then she was going to go to school, back to Unilag from there. Unfortunately, he invited her into the house instead of staying under the shed, and then that led to her death, according to the story. Now, most times, the people who perpetrate the most danger against people are the people that are closest to us.
Yep.
So that's the main thing that I found in the story. And another one is that because we have not established the purpose, we are not sure it's truly an organ merchant. So we cannot conclude that he's into the sales of human parts. We cannot conclude. From that story, we cannot conclude until when the police say so. But for now, we are going to work on the impression that he lied about getting the money because he just wanted to turn that story to kidnapping or abduction so that the parents would think that it was a death resulting from kidnapping. Remember, he also tried to be an Hausa man while talking with the mom and some other people. So I feel that most times we find young people engage in all of these things.
Yeah.
Quick wealth, all of it. They are always in a hurry to make money. And there are too many things to account for this. I am not a fan of poverty, so I will not say that poverty is the reason. I tell people that poverty is always the easiest excuse
yes.
to use. But there might be other reasons. But we all know that young people of today are always in a hurry to make money.
All right.
Always in a hurry.
What would you say are the other underlying reasons that, inform situations like this? Now, there have been several hashtags that have trended in the past year and more. Justice for Christiana now, justice for Barakat, justice for Imoren, justice for Uwa. The number of women whose names have come up, and have been killed by some of these men. What would you say are some of the underlying reasons beyond the desire for quick wealth that you've seen?
Well, the greed will always come first. So for me, you see, substance consumption is also a very strong factor. Now, all of these people have to be under one influence before they can take certain decisions. You cannot do some things. It's not easy to kill a person. You need to be under an influence unless you are used to that lifestyle. But if you are just going to do it for the first time or the first few times, you have to be under an influence because that thing will have to take away the humanity in you. It has to be absent before you can do all of these things. So I would say substance consumption. And of course, peer pressure is always there. Now, you don't know what they all do. I was talking with a young guy last night, and then he said he needed to level up. Now, leveling up here could mean the use of juju, diabolical means of achieving the wealth. It could also mean an additional way of facilitating that wealth. Anything can come up. So, but they will still refer to that as leveling up. That's a street language.
All right. And is there the possibility that some people just do this because of pleasure? There was a man's page or young boy's page yesterday. They found his older tweets where he talked about the fact that he just enjoyed watching women being assaulted and being killed, you know. And a number of these tweets they took screenshots and said they were documenting for evidence so that he doesn't go back and delete a number of these tweets. Is there the possibility, because when we hear of serial killing, we often think of it as something that happens more in the West. We don't think about it in terms of Nigeria, or it's been an African thing as well. So is there a possibility that there are people who just like to kill for fun?
You see, in the current world, everywhere is almost the same. Because of globalization, we cannot say that the culture of the West is totally in the West. The culture of the West can also be found in our part of the world, because it is faster for cultural traits to move now. If it happens here now for that reason, it could happen elsewhere for the same reason. Yeah. It doesn't have to be the same geographical platform or location, because the cyberspace has brought us all together. So it's possible for some people to believe that they are doing it for the pleasure of it. It's possible. Young people. Because most times, because of the time that they spend online, they accumulate all those cultures, and then it becomes their own lifestyle. It doesn't have to be what is expected of them in the part of the world where they are from.
Yeah. All right. Talk about, you know, what you expect from the police, you know, with regards to this particular case. It's reported that she was buried in a shallow grave in his parents' house. Are they also culpable? You know, should they also be questioned?
The police?
No, I mean the
parents.
parents.
The parents.
You know, the other family members.
Oh, okay. Well, they should be blamed. But the autopsy will reveal a lot more. When the body is excavated, we are going to see if organs are missing. If nothing is missing, if it's just a dead body, they have a share of that blame. You see, most parents forget that.
Well, they will have a share of the blame whether organs are missing or not. You know,
exactly, because
in their house, yeah.
You know, not even that. It has to do with the socialization of their own child.
Yeah.
It's their primary duty to teach these children how to become good members of the society. So if they have failed in that regard, if he has become that, then it's their failure too. They will certainly have a share of that blame. It doesn't mean that they are culpable. They may not be a part of it, but how could something like that happen in a compound? And of course, it dug a hole, yeah. Not deep, a shallow hole, but it was still old. It will take time. It's not something that could be done in 5 minutes. It's something that will take time because the body is big. So somebody would have known. Most crimes go, there's no way all crimes will go unnoticed. There's always someone somewhere who will notice some things. And we are not sure they live alone in their compound.
Yeah, you're a criminologist. I'm not sure if you deal with a lot of similar cases and people of this age. But help us go through the mind of a person who will commit a crime like this. What gives a 23-year-old the mental capacity to kill? I mean, money is one thing that can be easily blamed, you know, the search for money, but to take another life.
Yeah, you know, I said it earlier on that it's not that easy to take a life. That means the person will have to go through some sort of reorientation. You see, they are exposed to a lot of things, and they consume a lot of things too. We know on the street that there are lots of drugs, substances that they take. The very popular among them is the Colorado Colos.
Yeah.
Now you know that the moment they consume that, they don't have an idea of what they are doing anymore. They are no longer in control of their lives. So anything can happen at that point in time. And I tell young people that under the influence of drugs, they can become anything. So their exposure is one. The kind of people that they socialize with is another one. But if you could go that far, coming up with a text message, becoming another person, coming up with a Sportybet account for the transfer of money, then it's not like he doesn't have any idea. It is possible. There's a possibility that he had been in this kind of situation before. Yes, or maybe he has friends who knows how to do this. So he might not be alone in the real sense of it.
So then there's a possibility that there are more people that are
Yes, he might not be alone.
Especially because there are also allegations about this not being an isolated event. There are allegations of a sister.
Criminal history, yeah.
Yeah, and another woman being killed by him, although these are still subject to investigation. And we're hoping that the police can give us a more detailed report.
But they found with him a lot of phones belonging to other people. So young people do a lot of things. Recently in my university, we were doing an examination. One student, one person, a young person, I don't want to call him a student, came from as far away as Agoiwoye to steal from the examination hall. Then he carried the bag that has more than 4 phones. Fortunately, the owner of the bag spotted him, and then we started running around. By the time we got outside, we didn't really see his face. He was telling us that it was that person. That was when everybody turned around, yeah, it was you. Then we caught him.
And I agree that, right now we have a culture that glorifies wealth, undue wealth, and the message that we pass in media and music. And we must do something about that. And we must also go back to the family unit to instill the right values. But I want us to talk about another angle, which is the angle of gender and the role that gender plays in all of this. There's a story of the athlete in Uganda, Rebecca Cheptegei, who was killed by her boyfriend. He walked into her room, poured gasoline on her, set her on fire. She didn't survive the burns. And that's not an isolated incident. Just like you mentioned, the number of women who have been killed by intimate partners. And there's statistics to back that up. The United Nations has statistics to back that up. So talk to us about the role that gender plays in these killings and why a number of women will come out to cry on social media that, stop killing women. There's something called femicide. What's role or what's the psychology of gender being involved in this?
You see, in our part of the world, we have always seen the other gender, from my point of view, as the subordinate. And they are socialized to accept their position as subordinated positions. We also realized that over the years, some group of people among them came out and said, we are feminists. We do not want to be in the subordinated position anymore. We want to compete with the men. But then you realize that gender, there will always be a separation, biological separation. But gender is social. We can give it any meaning. And that is why you see in the other part of the world that we don't call men and women. You can be genderless if you choose to be. You can choose not to be anything. You can choose to be a man before, then a woman now, a woman before, then a man now, transgendered. You may choose not to identify. So all of these things are changing. And all of these things are coming to our part of the world. You see a lot of women telling you that they don't think marriage is important. And there are lots of technologies that can help them achieve their goals. They don't necessarily need to be married before they have children. They don't necessarily need to carry their baby before they have a baby, because there are several ways of having the baby. There are several ways of getting pregnant. So the line is getting thinner, and equality, we are getting that level of equality that we expect in our part of the world. So women are not exactly as subordinated as they used to be in the past.
So are you saying that there's an element of subordination that plays a part in in these killings that we're seeing?
No, it's not that. None of them have said that. But we know that across the world, women and children have always been the most vulnerable component of the population.
Okay, all right.
All right.
We, of course, have run out of time for the conversation, but we do hope that there will be more details that would emerge regarding this investigation and that we can talk more about this. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Oyenuga, for joining us.
Welcome.
All right.